In this video with the AnKing, I am going to talk about one of my favorite subjects and something that I have been very excited to share with all of you, how I use AI tools to learn and practice medicine. Now, this is something I've been really excited about. Like I said, for the last year, I've been tinkering with and playing and testing and trying every AI tool I could get my hands on. I think it is fascinating and definitely where the future is headed. And I'm going to share all of my favorites with you. If you have others that I'm not putting this list, please share them in the comments so that we can all benefit. And if you like this video, like and subscribe for more content like this. Now, this video is sponsored by Consensus, and ever since I put out a video on them a year ago, I have been using their product in clinical practice and in studying and doing research projects, and I found that it's incredible. So I agreed to do another video, and I'm very excited to share with you all the fun features that Consensus has to offer, as well as other AI tools that I've been using in the last year. So again, let's just jump right in. So here's the Consensus homepage, and you can see right off the bat there's multiple different things you can do here. And basically what Consensus is doing is you're able to do a quick Google search essentially, but you know that you're going to pull from real data and it's not going to hallucinate or make things up. And I found that that's definitely an issue if you're using things like ChatGPT and OpenAI stuff, even OpenEvidence and things like that a lot of us in the medical world are using, I found can hallucinate stuff or sometimes misinterpret things. The nice thing about Consensus is it's going to put all of the information that it's pulling that data from right in front of you and make it very easy to actually review those research papers and see why it's giving you the answer that it's giving. That's what I think makes Consensus so powerful. Now, they've even added, since my last video, the ability to basically chat with it, and I'll show you that in a second. It's called their threads. But basically right here you can see you can ask research questions, you can draft an outline. It can actually help you to write research papers, which is awesome. You can create tables if you want to compare different things. And the consensus meter I'm going to show you, you can see all over here all the multiple searches that I have done just in the last month. I'm going to pull up, because I've already pulled up some of my favorite lists for this video and things that I think are going to be particularly interesting. All right, so here's an actual question, right? And this is what's going to pull up with the consensus meter here. So this is basically going to summarize all the papers that it pulled up in that search. So in this case, n equals 17. It's going to say how many of them agree with the question you asked or how many don't. Well, I think it's really nice because you can very quickly kind of get an estimate of what's going on. And you might say, wait, SSRIs don't help with anxiety? Like, what's going on with the no's over here? Well, what I love is that it's citing these papers, and not only is it citing them, you know, number 1, 2, 3 or whatever, because there's a lot of AI tools that do that. What it's going to do is it's also going to pull all these results in like this, and this is the result of the paper, and I've actually clicked and opened this already, but it's basically showing you everything about that paper. So it's showing you this was tested over 8 weeks. It was 55 people. It was a randomized controlled trial in a highly cited journal. So it's very easy to quickly see what's going on. Now, you also can look at this and say, wait, it was only tested over 8 weeks and it was only 55 people. Is that really enough to give me a definitive thing with SSRIs? You know, those are something that maybe need to be used a little bit longer. So it's helpful to at least evaluate the papers very quickly without needing to go read the papers yourself. You can also see, like, here's one that's a meta-analysis that looked at 56 papers. It was awesome, and it said no. So you can actually say, like, wow, this is really cool. I can open it in a new tab. I'm just going to click it here, and it's going to pull up the information about that paper. It's going to pull in the abstract. You can open the full text or the PDF or anything like that and actually pull open the paper, which is amazing. I mean, this is so cool. It makes it so quick to find the papers, to read the papers. Now, obviously, not all of them are going to be, available like this one because this is open access, but just something to kind of keep in mind. Now, you can, over here in Consensus, see all of the papers that I have cited in this thread. Now, I mentioned threads, and I'm going to introduce you to that. So what you can do is, I asked this question, do SSRIs help with anxiety? You could ask a follow-up question, and so I could say, is there anything that works better than SSRIs? I've not searched this before. You are going to watch this with me in real time and see what it says. It's kind of cool. Now, I have found asking something like, do SSRIs help with anxiety, so it's kind of a yes or no thing, is really helpful to get the consensus meter to give you the right answer. So you do have to play with it and kind of get the right searches, but this is kind of cool. It's going to help you. It's going to kind of give you a summary of different things that have been tried, and it'll give you the results and things that it's basing off of. Again, so it's awesome. But the cool thing I love is that you can basically keep asking questions. This was not available the last time I made a video on consensus. This is a new feature, which is really cool. And if you click up here on the top left, kind of the title here of this thread, you can actually see, here's the 4 questions that I have asked over time with this. So I could, I previously asked about how long does it take to work. I saw that study, it said 8 weeks. I was like, wait a second. So I could actually click on this and scroll to that and see information that says, here's about how long it takes to work, and information that is cited about that. You can see all the results here and open those up. Again, it's fantastic. And you can use this in many different ways. So let's go back to my research hub here. I'll show you another example just of something that I thought was really fun. Now again, you can actually, there's other cool features here that I'm not gonna go into in this video, but you can upload your own papers. You can use it to help you write research papers. It's really good in that sense. Now I had a question here, which was, does oral zinc shorten the length of colds? We all deal with colds, lots of fun. So here's my question, and you can see there's only one question that I had asked so far. And I love this because it pulls up the consensus meter and says, maybe. When I'm looking at this, half of them are saying that. And you can go and look at, all the results and kind of help to decide for yourself. Now, all of the ones I've done here have been this quick question. You can actually do a pro search or a deep search, which is going to review 50 papers, so it's going to review a lot more information and pull in more information. So really helpful in that regard. All right, here's an example. I just wanted to run it so you could see the whole thing. This is the quick search, and I basically asked the same question again. I did it down here. This is with the deep search, 50 sources, super cool. I actually went through like 700 papers to get to this point. It was super fun to watch it. It took less than 5 minutes, which was cool. And it cites everything, and you can see that the consensus meter is roughly the same. You can see it identified almost 1,000 papers, which is super cool, and includes 50 in its search. And it actually tries to rank them. I'm not sure exactly what goes into that, but it's trying to rank them. It's showing you like what authors and journals are being, the strength of each of the journals, or the articles. It's giving you all sorts of different information, which I think is really cool. And then same thing, you can come down here to the results and you can actually go through that information. Now, something as I was looking through this that I forgot to show you, you can actually bookmark them, or you can cite them, which I think is really nice if you're writing a paper. You can go through here and you can cite each of the papers. You can share them with each other. All sorts of cool things. And then the last thing I didn't show you, if you go back to the quick search. So some of these are animal studies. Some of these are meta-analyses. Some of these are randomized controlled trials. Well, let's say you don't want animal trials and stuff in there. You want to know what's the human data that's been going on. You can click this filter button before you do your search, and you can actually look at, different qualities of journals, in the last couple years. You can exclude different things. You can include open access. You can look at the methodology. So you can say, I just want meta-analyses and reviews and randomized controlled trials. I don't want anything else. You can choose the sample size. Seriously, all of this is super cool. You can customize this in every way, and I've done this multiple times, as you can see on the sidebar here. So basically, my summary of consensus here is that if you want to Google search for medicine, whether you're learning for step 1, step 2 in medical school, whether you're actually a physician or resident that's practicing, this is a tool that's really helpful. And you can search what you want and know that the data that you're getting is reliable, and it provides a way for you to go in and fact check that data very quickly. I think it's a fantastic search tool. Consensus actually is working with us. They gave us a discount code. You can check the description of this video below. Fantastic discount code for all of you that are following me. Anyway, I hope you enjoy that, but let's move on. I'm going to talk about some of the other fun AI tools that I've been using. All right, now naturally, the next thing I have to talk about is Anki. You know me, I am an Anki nerd. I love this stuff, and there has been a lot of AI tools that have come out for the flashcard world. We've been working hard on some of the stuff at AnkiHub, and we've been putting a lot of time and money into improving them, and I expect that things will continue to improve as time goes on. Now, unfortunately, I don't think there's any great tools out there yet that help you create quality flashcards. I've seen some that make them, but they're not amazing. But There are some great tools out there for helping you to find flashcards or learn well from flashcards. I want to show you some of those. Now, I have been studying with a derm key deck. That's what I primarily have been doing as a dermatology resident, but I'm going to show you from the step 1 and step 2 deck, because that's what most of you are probably learning from. Now, you'll notice right away when you're in Anki, this smart search button pops up and you can actually click on that. It will pop up a window here and you can go through and search for stuff. I'm going to show you this in the web browser just because it will display a little better in the video. But for now, I want to show you a flashcard. So we're going to, review our flashcard just like normal. Let's say you have a question about it. You want to understand it a little better. You want to look at related topics. Well, down here in the right, as long as you have the premium subscription on AnkiHub, you'll get the AI chatbot, which is totally fun and he's kind of cute. And you can see here, there's multiple related flashcards. And that's kind of like the pop-up dictionary, if any of you are old enough to remember that and when it was really popular in the Anki world. But basically, it's going to show you some related cards. And then you can also chat with it. You can ask things. So a big complaint with Anki is that we separate all the facts into multiple flashcards, and it makes it hard to kind of get the big picture and put that together when you're doing practice questions. Well, now we're trying to solve that problem by helping you to see related flashcards. You can even unsuspend them if you want to, or you can ask it to explain this topic. It's going to pull information in on that. You can ask follow-up questions. You can type whatever you want. You can help us to train the AI. This is basically pulling information from the flashcard set so that we give you accurate information. But as with any AI, you got to be careful. And one cool thing I'm going to add in, this isn't AI related, but if you have a premium subscription to AnkiHub and you also are purchasing McGraw-Hill products like Boards and Beyond or First Aid Forward, you can click on that and it will pull up the First Aid Forward content, which is really nice to have right here. They've got fantastic content. It really does help with that big picture thing as well. So anyway, totally fun features within Anki here. I'm going to go over to the AnkiHub website and kind of show you how the smart search feature works. All right, so you can see already on this screen which decks are enabled with the smart search already, and we're trying to get more of them enabled as time goes on, but most of these popular decks will have that. And you can go ahead and click into that. It's going to pull this up, and immediately you can see your study aids, which is one way to search. Text and files are another way to search, and I'll show you that in a second, but just to start, I'm just going to type a word in here, endocarditis, and we'll let it do its thing. It's going to start searching. You can see it's already selected through a lot of these tags and found 127 notes, which is awesome. So you can copy those note IDs and then paste them into Anki, or you can add to the study queue and it'll automatically add them for you. It's going to pull up other terms here that are kind of fun to kind of help you narrow your search down and things like that. You can also select through different resources if you wanted to select those or specific step tests. So there's a bunch of different options in terms of that. The text, so this part is really cool. I think I use it probably the most because I can easily copy and paste the specific parts that I'm looking for content from, as opposed to the files where you're just dragging the entire thing in. So I'm going to paste this in. This is a paragraph I found on a website about basal cell carcinoma. I'm a dermatologist. Sorry, you have to put up with me. And I'm going to click search. It's going to basically do the same thing. It's going to search through all of that content. It's going to go find the flashcards that are related to basal cell carcinoma, and you can filter it based on, what step tests you want to take, or you can make the focus really broad or really narrow. So it found 99, and with a 50% match, you're going to select 33 of them. Now, for example, I'm going to scroll down here, and you can see that when you get down into some of these medium ones, it's finding things like melanoma and squamous cell carcinoma and things like that, which are related, but it's not basal cell carcinoma. It's not quite what we're looking for. So if you make it a much more narrow focus, you're going to get a much better match here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy the selected node IDs just to show you how this works. We'll open the browser. I'll paste this in, and you can immediately see it's letting me look at all of the cards that are related here, so you can see these are about basal cell skin cancer. So it's really nice to be able to paste that text in and see all that information very quickly and find those cards. The files as well, really cool. You can drag and drop PDFs or text files or pictures, whatever you want it to be. There is a file size limit on there. I know most of our med school lectures have like 200 slides in the PowerPoint, and obviously that's going to not give you great results. The narrower you keep it, the better it's going to work for you. You need to use these AI tools appropriately. So anyway, that's the tools for kind of the smart search feature. Again, if you're over in Anki, I'll close this, and you open up the deck, you'll actually have access to all of those features right here. And you can do it right within Anki without needing to go to the website. All right, I can't do a video like this without ChatGPT. It's the original. It is one of the best. I love it. there are definitely, I've used Claude, I've used DeepSeek, I've used Gemini. I really have played with all of them. I keep coming back to ChatGPT. It's the one that I pay for. I feel like it does a really good job. Now, that's not saying that the other ones don't, and I think they all have their pros and cons, and I would recommend tinkering with them all because they all have their pros and cons. Claude's definitely going to do a better job with coding and things like that, but anyway, for what it's worth, I wanted to jump into ChatGPT, and the first thing I'll show you here is that Consensus actually has its own GPT that you can plug in and find there, and you can ask it questions. I think it actually works better on the website, but if you like the ChatGPT app and wanted to do that, this is something you could consider. I'm going to pull this up because I think this is just super cool. So these are ones I evaluated. These are actual GPTs. I mean, I'm constantly doing searches, but I saved a couple of these for this video that I wanted to show you. One way that I love using AI for medicine stuff is this. So this is a research paper I've been working on, and here I pasted it in and said, hey, I need to trim this to 450 words. It is so good at summarizing and helping you trim things to fit different word counts for different research papers. Highly, highly, highly recommend. It's really good at that. It was really good at formatting different, if I needed to format my articles that I'm putting in my citations into a different format, things like that. It's really good at that. Saves me tons of time. So that was one way that I've used this. Another way, it's great at requesting cartoons. Even though I'm a dermatologist, was a little bit freaky, but anyway, kind of fun. This was a quick question that I asked, when I was in clinic. Again, I'm a dermatologist, so we had Mohs surgery. Somebody had basal cell, and we needed to know. The patient asked, "Can they donate blood?" I was like, "I don't know." So we put it into ChatGPT. We put it into a couple different things too. But anyway, I came up with a decent answer. So that's it can be good, and sometimes you have to kind of double check it, though. I think that using something like Consensus is going to get you a better answer for things like that. Or OpenEvidence would be another one that I would use. This is something it does really good too, is summary tables. So I asked it about these few conditions that I really don't know much about, and probably you don't know much about either, being in medical school, because I don't remember learning about these, but this is something that a relative was dealing with, and they were asking me questions because of course I'm the doctor, and why wouldn't a dermatologist know everything about the brain and neurology? Anyway, it does a really good job at doing these like comparisons and summary tables if you ask it to. So that's one thing to consider. Another thing, so this was a patient presentation. Now this one I made up, but you have to be very careful when you do something like this, because ChatGPT is not going to be HIPAA protected, so be careful about what information you're putting into it. Some things like OpenEvidence, theoretically are. At the institution where I'm at, they have a version of Copilot through the Microsoft environment that we have, that you can actually put information in about the patient, and I think this can really be helpful. So I've actually asked information about lab work or patient presentations to kind of help me come up with differentials, and it does a really good job of that. And ultimately, you're going to be the one that diagnoses the patient, but this is something that think about using. Obviously, make sure you're using something that is HIPAA protected, but just so you know. Scroll up to this one, I thought it was pretty good. Here's a picture of my backyard, and I said, "Is this poison ivy?" And it says, "Yes, this is poison ivy." I actually put it into a couple different things. It turned out that it definitely was poison ivy. I ripped it all out. It was very scary, and I'm sorry that the photo is not loading, but it was a little freaky being a dermatologist and seeing poison ivy all over my backyard. So anyway, there's that one. And then another one here, I'm allergic to limonene. I actually did patch testing because I've had horrible rashes trying all these skincare products that I get at conferences. So I did patch testing on my back and found out I'm allergic to limonene. And I was like, well, what is that? And what do I need to avoid? And it's really good at doing stuff like this. So like patient handouts and things like that, maybe something to consider. Last but not least, I want to show you something that is so cool that I did with ChatGPT. I still can't believe that I did it. It's awesome. So here is my anesthetics folder, and I had all sorts of stuff. Basically, when I was doing procedures on patients with hidradenitis, we found out that, they oftentimes tend to be a little bit heavier patients, and so you do need to be concerned about, because you can't just do milligrams per kilogram. You're going to hit the total maximum, and I found out that all the calculators online don't actually calculate that. And we were also mixing multiple anesthetics. We were using longer term ones and shorter term ones. I was like, what do I do? So anyway, I decided I wanted to make a website. And hopefully this loads for me. So I started asking it to help me code a website, and I would put things in and say, where do I insert all of these things? And basically it started giving me these, let's see if I can find the right one. It gave me summaries of all of the ones I was looking up. So I looked up basically everything I did was with ChatGPT. I did confirm it with other stuff. Gave me summaries, and then I started coding things. I think this might be the one here. Yeah, so it's giving me like a whole table and all of the HTML. It taught me how to do it, and it actually coded this website. So by the end of it, I put all this together so you can put in the patient's weight. You can say whatever they are. I can put in, I could say this one is buffered with sodium bicarbonate, and we're also using the bupivacaine, and we're going to use 6 milliliters of that to give them a little bit of lasting relief. And it's actually going to tell you like how much you can use, and it even made a graph. And then I added the table in that I just showed you, added in citations. So anyway, I made it look kind of nice, but it literally coded this entire website, which is so cool. So sky's the limit when you're playing around with AI tools. I've mentioned it multiple times already, but I would be remiss if I did not mention OpenEvidence in a video about AI in medicine. I do think it's really cool what they are doing here. This resource is free for medical students and doctors, and I believe other providers as well. OpenEvidence has signed agreements, as you can see at the top of this page here, with JAMA and the New England Journal, which is awesome. So they really are trying to be very research-based. These are my question history. There's really not a lot to go into, but basically, it's going to theoretically pull in nice reviews and information on all this information. It is going to give you citations and references and that kind of information. Again, I like the consensus stuff better personally, because here, it's giving me the reference and I have to click on it and then go read it, but that's not actually here, whereas consensus is going to pull that information in for me. The nice thing I think that's cool here is you can pull information in here and then check new evidence updates, and it'll tell you if there's something like that. But OpenEvidence obviously is something that a lot of people are using. It's a free resource, which is great. So definitely worth trying out if you're exploring the area. I absolutely love VisualDx. Now that's coming from a dermatologist, but I think it's an incredible resource that all medical students should be using, and probably all doctors of all specialties. It is such a good tool, and I'm going to show you why. One thing that I love about it is the Analyze a Photo AI tool. So I could go into VisualDx features, but this is a video on AI stuff. So we're going to analyze a photo here. This is totally fun. So I'm going to show you, this is actually a picture of my elbow, and it developed pretty acutely. It was kind of itchy, kind of burny. It's just on my right elbow. Now you can see this here is a scar from a procedure, so that's unrelated. I have this nice circle, kind of pink patch, right? So what is it? Now I would say most people would probably struggle to make this diagnosis. I actually know what it is because I figured it out eventually, but I'm going to show you what it is. So let's analyze the photo. I'm going to click continue, and we'll put this one in here and click continue. So again, now it's going to ask for information. The more information you give it, the more accurate it's going to be. So I'm going to manually select a different lesion. So there's a bunch of different options. Now it was flat. There really wasn't any substance to it. So I'm going to say that it was flat, and let's see, probably hyperpigmented. I mean, it was really more like red than anything. We'll go hyperpigmented patch and click continue. It's going to ask me how old. So I'm in my 30s. I'm a male. It's just one spot, right? Wasn't really anywhere else on my body. On my elbow. So click my elbow, just on the one elbow. It's pretty acute. I mean, it came on pretty quickly, and I felt fine otherwise. Like I said, it was kind of itchy, kind of painful. I didn't have fever, so I'm going to put all that information in, click view results. So this is what I love so much. It is going to help you build the differential. It's not going to spit out the right answer, because it would probably get it wrong. I don't think there's any AI that can do that, especially because we're not giving it all the right information. But it's going to tell you, consider these first. It's going to tell you these are uncommon. These are emergencies that you should be considering. So if you're an ER doctor or an ER resident, this is fantastic. It's going to tell you infectious, drug-induced etiologies, all these things. So under consider first. The thing I love is you can actually now see photos from all the different things, and then you could click on them. Now I'm going to give this away. This was a fixed drug eruption to Bactrim that I had taken. But you can actually click into here and kind of see actual images that of what it looks like. So I think it's amazing, and I'll show you the full article and kind of what VisualDx has to offer and one of the reasons why I think it's so cool. Basically, they give you all this nice information, diagnostic pearls, best tests, management pearls, therapy. It's basically like up to date but watered down in the amount that you could actually read while walking through the hallway to see your patient and things like that, or before you're about to go present to your attending. So anyway, just something to think about. I think VisualDx is amazing, and its image tool is so good. I would check with your hospital or your medical school, because chances are they probably have a contract. You already have access to this. You may not know it, but definitely check this out. Last but certainly not least, I wanted to play around with the AI scribes here. I think it's awesome. So this is Doximity. If you log in here, they actually have a GPT. So it's very similar to the other ones I've shown. It's free, which is nice. You can log in. They have a dialer, so you can act like you're calling from your office, even though you're calling from your cell phone. You can get your own fax number. I highly recommend all of it. I think these are great. The nice thing about Doximity is it is HIPAA compliant, but you know, it's very similar to all the other ones that I've shown. You can customize your sources, which I think is kind of cool. So you can say like which journals you want to pull things from, which ones you don't want to pull things from. So anyway, it has some really nice features. Definitely worth trying out, because I'd recommend using Doximity anyway. So on to the scribe here. I think this is so cool. I have not used Doximity Scribe a lot, and that's because as a dermatologist, it's very difficult for a lot of these AI scribes to kind of be pulling out the specific information that we want. You know, we're not doing a heart exam and a lung exam and things like that a general primary care provider would be doing. But I have found that they are really good for those specialists, and I still have found some good ones for dermatology. And unfortunately, the institution I'm at has not wanted to pair it with our EHR, which would be really nice, but still, you know, something worth considering. So you can customize your notes, and you can kind of tell it what you want it to be. You know, you can go into each of these and say how you want it to format it and things like that. So definitely worth playing with it. Just to show you an example, this is Athelas scribe. This is one that I actually had kind of tinkered with and played with, and definitely worth trying out. So this is an example of a clinic note. I'm gonna show you the transcription so you can see basically what it's doing. This is actually, because I didn't want to share any HIPAA information, this is not a real patient, this is me talking to myself. So, hey, I'm Dr. Flint, you must be John. Nice to meet you, John. Okay, let me log into the computer here. Looks like we're doing a follow-up. So anyway, that's what happened. So definitely not as many ums and oohs and ahs, and I'm not telling stories about skiing and stuff like there would be in a normal visit, but it still comes out with a pretty darn good thing, and it's able to pull the information out. And I had actually used this for patient visits. So, you know, it's great. It's pulling in the positive findings from my skin exam like I asked it to. It's pulling in a diagnostic assessment and plan, which is what I asked it to do. So definitely worth playing around with this, whether you're using Athelas, whether you're using Doximity. There's a couple others out there that I've heard are pretty good. And most of them, if you're a medical student or resident, you should be able to get for very cheap or free. I think if you're an attending physician, I'm sorry, but most of them are very expensive, except for Doximity. But definitely worth trying these out. I think that the future is headed this direction. It's going to save us a lot of time and burnout as we continue to embrace AI in our professions. That's it for my AI tools. Hopefully you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it and tinkering with the AI tools over the last year. Like I said at the beginning of this video, if you liked it, please like and subscribe. We would appreciate your support. And also share in the comments other AI tools that you've found to be really helpful. I think this is such a fun period to be a healthcare provider in, because we get to embrace the future. And I think there are so many amazing things that are just on the cusp of happening.